happening. I just published a huge study called The State of Our Currencies. And what I describe is the fact that for many decades, the dollar has been the reserve currency. And the system is what I would describe as long in the tooth. And the central bankers are trying to bring in a new system, but it's not ready to go yet. And we're in a period of great change and uncertainty where the central bankers are trying to keep the dollar system going and accelerate. So they're trying to lengthen the dollar system, and then they're trying to accelerate bringing in the new system. And they have to bring in the new system without anybody quite realizing exactly what it is. So we've had a global reserve currency system, the dollar, and it needs to evolve and change, and it's long in the tooth. There's lots of unhappiness with the system, and the central bankers are trying to bring a new system. And to do it, they're trying to extend the old and accelerate the new, and it makes it a very chaotic thing since much of the new is being tested and tried and prototyped, and it involves many different industries. So I describe the new system as the end of currencies. So we're not bringing in a new currency, we're essentially bringing in a new transaction system that will be all digital and essentially end currencies as we know them. So what they're trying to do involves essentially all the money on the planet. So it's big, it's complicated, it's messy, and the challenge they have is how do you market a system that if people understood it, nobody would want. And of course, the way you do that is with a healthcare crisis.
And why is a healthcare crisis good for that?
Because generally, if a few people want to control the many, the question is how can you herd all the sheep into the slaughterhouse without them realizing and resisting? So the perfect thing is invisible enemies. So we had the war on terrorism, with invisible terrorists, and then now a virus is perfect because it's invisible. You can't prove that it doesn't exist because it's invisible. So invisible enemies are always the preferred one, particularly if they scare people. If you can use fear and introduce significant fear, then people will need government to protect them from the invisible enemy. Then the second tactic, which is very effective, is divide and conquer. And so in the meantime, if you can use the media plays a very important role. If you can turn men and women against each other and black and white against each other. And one of the reasons you import a lot of immigrants into Europe is turn the general population against the immigrants, and then you need government to be in the middle. And so these are all, whether it's divide and tactic or invisible enemies, these are all ways to institute fear and get people to go along with things. And of course, the invisible virus allows you to do enormous control mechanisms. You can stop people from gathering, you can stop people from organizing, you can stop people from getting together and talking about what's going on, et cetera, et cetera. And if you digitize it with contract tracing, then you can control who's talking to whom. If you can get them to do all their work and education online, you can literally listen to everything they're saying. So you can institute extraordinary amounts of surveillance, all in the theory that we're protecting you from the invisible virus. It's very close.
Esto tiene, el mecanismo es muy distinto, pero es el poder que estos grupos tienen para imponer el confinamiento de la fuerza de trabajo en 190 países. No todos han seguido. Y presentar esto como siendo una solución a una crisis de salud que afecta al planeta. Es mentira. ¿Okay? Y es mentira por el hecho que la economía es que si uno quiere realmente solucionar una crisis de salud pública, necesita tener la economía, porque sin la economía no hay nada, ¿no? La economía es la reproducción de la vida real, es salud, educación, asignación de recursos, gasto del gobierno. Y lo que han hecho es de quebrar tanto la estructura del Estado-Nación y a su vez de crear unas condiciones caóticas a nivel de la economía real. De tal forma que usted me preguntó acerca del movimiento de protesta.
Sí.
Yo creo primero el movimiento de protesta debe divulgar la propaganda que está detrás de ese proyecto. Es otro, digamos, línea de análisis. Ahora bien, yo creo primero es que los movimientos de protesta son muy importantes, pero a su vez son en particular gente que no necesariamente ve la totalidad de esa crisis. Lo ve muchas veces, y no es una crítica, es simplemente una realidad, cómo eso afecta a su familia, su empleo. Es decir,
ven el árbol, pero no ven el bosque, ¿no?
Sí, es una manera bueno, ellos ven la mentira, pero no necesariamente ven la lógica de
esa mentira.
Esa crisis está remodelando la economía mundial con consecuencias tremendamente graves.